you're listening to WMSC Upper Montclair 90.3 FM. For more information,
Good morning, everyone. You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, the voice of Montclair State University. This is the Morning Buzz. I am Josh, aka Josh. I am joined with my lovely host,
Kenny Horn. I feel like I need a cool name like that. And our newscaster for today.
And Ryan Breda.
Don't worry, guys. The name, it comes with being on air, talking like this. Eventually, it'll just come to you like a vision in the night. You'll see it in your dreams, and you'll wake up, and you're like, "Oh, Kenny Horn." And I couldn't think of a name off the top of my head. But
Kenny the Kenny.
let's get into our newscast. Ryan, what is going on?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Josh. Good morning, Morning Buzz listeners. This is Ryan Breda giving you this morning's news. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy refused on Wednesday to punish Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene for spreading false conspiracy theories and for her endorsement for the execution of top Democrats in her old Facebook posts. McCarthy condemned Greene's previous comments, but declined to take away her positions on influential congressional committees. The House will be voting today on whether to strip Greene of her 2 committee seats. As the COVID numbers in New Jersey remain at a steady pace, Governor Phil Murphy announced at the COVID briefing on Wednesday that the indoor capacity limit will increase from 25% to 35% starting on Friday morning. Murphy cited in his decisions the declining hospital numbers and daily positive test results. The move by Murphy comes just days before the big game and a week before Valentine's Day. And in local news, an after-hours robbery took place on Bloomfield Avenue at Belgivine's Deli on Monday, with the deli's owner reporting a loss of $450 in cash. According to the Montclair Police Department, the police responded to Belgivine's on Monday after getting a report that the glass front door was shattered. And in weather, currently in Montclair, it is 30 degrees, with a high for today being 39 and a low of 25 degrees. That's it for today's news. This is Ryan Breda reporting for WMSC 90.3.
Thank you, Ryan. Wonderful as always. I think you have such a nice way of speaking.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You too, Josh.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Oh my, you guys are too nice. You're gonna make me blush.
We're just throwing compliments around today.
You guys are
happening.
just saying this because it's a day before my birthday. I don't know if we
really?
said what today is. Yeah, it is
Why, happy
Thursday.
almost birthday, Josh.
Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it. It's Thursday, February 4th. For all of you listening at home or on Facebook or on iHeartRadio, it's 10 days before Valentine's Day. I know
Ooh,
Ryan mentioned that, but
Moi.
got to start getting your presents for your lucky significant others.
Don't
Lewis is in
remind
the
me.
studio saying gross, like, ugh. But
Don't get the
before we
cooties.
get
Don't
into
get the cooties.
don't catch the cooties. We already have to worry about coronavirus. We don't want to have to worry about cooties as well. But before we get into any of that, Tommy is also in the virtual studio with us. Give us
Hello.
some sports updates. Tommy, how's it going?
Doing good, Josh. Thank you all for having me. So I'll start off with today's sportscast.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. So in all seriousness, to start off today's sportscast, Division III of the NCAA has canceled the 2021 Winter Championships due to low participation numbers that have increased throughout schools. It was announced late last night by the administrative committee. Going on into the MLB, the Mets have reportedly have a significant interest in signing free agent left-hander Rich Hill alongside the Tampa Bay Rays and Milwaukee Brewers. If the Mets were to extend Michael Conforto 7 years for $175 million, may be the closest number that would keep him from entering free agency. The Baltimore Orioles have signed former American League Cy Young winner Felix Hernandez for a minor league contract. To the NBA, the New York Knicks got back in the win column as they beat the Chicago Bulls by a final score of 107-103 as they snapped their 2-game losing streak. The Philadelphia 76ers extend their winning streak to 3 as they beat the Charlotte Hornets by a final score of 118-111. Tonight, the Sixers are back home taking on the Portland Trailblazers at 8 o'clock p.m. In the NHL, the Philadelphia Flyers get a point but fall short from the Boston Bruins in overtime by a final score of 4-3. David Pastrnak scores the game-winning goal as he records a hat trick for the Bruins last night. The Devils and Islanders, originally scheduled to play today, are postponed tonight due to the COVID-19 protocols. Owls resume their season on Saturday, while the Devils continue their season on Monday. The Rangers are home tonight in their retro jerseys as they take on the Washington Capitals at 7 o'clock p.m. The Rangers have become the first NHL team to host a Dream Gap tour that involves Professional Women's Hockey League Players Association taking place on February 28th. To close out today's Sportscast, a friendly reminder that the 55th big game will take place on Sunday as the defending champions Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their home stadium at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's all your Sportscast for today. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Tommy. Ooh, are you guys excited about this big game? I'm not a big
Yes.
football person, but I think it's very interesting.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah, it's
football
going to be
guy.
a great one.
Tom Brady, if you're listening right now,
Tom Brady's listening. Yeah.
lose.
Ooh.
Lose.
Tom
That's a
Brady.
Anger. in
I do
his
not
voice.
like you.
You're
you're
asking
lying
for
to-
anger.
I'm telling you, as Kansas City Chiefs, if you're lying to us, if you find a way to lose this one, I will get I will get the big trophy myself.
Ooh, Tommy's gonna have to get involved. And make it
Uh-oh.
But
I'm
Tommy, I want to ask you,
hoping you mess up.
and for all of you
You
guys as
mess
well,
up.
have you heard they're bringing back the NCAA football game?
That's exciting.
A newer version of it. I don't know what year they stopped making them, but I know they were big in general, and so they decided to bring it back. I think it's weird that they bring it back this year when the past year has been so crippled by the pandemic that they choose to bring back college football video games. Do you guys think that might be a reason they're bringing it back?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
It's interesting because it's like the game is not that great in my opinion. I didn't
Fair.
think it was worth the hype, but you know what? A lot of the old traditions are coming back, so like let's see what happens. Maybe it'll be a
Good
good thing.
it
to
was
do.
gone.
Yeah. I mean, that goes to show you how,
Exactly.
But I think for some people it was really big for them. And I do think it'll provide that missing exposure that not having these games will give the college students too.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
but hey, we go to our first story.
All right. Let's do it. We got some news in Virginia. The Virginia Senate, they passed a bill on yesterday, that would abolish the death penalty, a measure that, if passed into law, would mark a major policy change for a state that, over its centuries-long history, has led the nation in the number of executions it has carried out. We got this article from apnews.com. They said that the Democrat-controlled chamber approved the bill in a 21-17 vote that split along party lines and was seen as a key hurdle for the measure. Advocates, they now expect that the House version of the bill will be easily cleared into the chamber, and Democratic Governor Ralph Northam has said that he supports this legislation. After Wednesday's vote, there was an emotional floor debate, and he said, quote, "I cannot think of anything that's more awful, unspeakable, and wrong for government to do than to use its power than to execute somebody who didn't commit the crime they're accused of. The problem with capital punishment is that once it's inflicted, you can't take it back. It can't be corrected." End quote. Democrats, they raised a concern about the racial disparities in the application of the death penalty and pointed to research that shows it did not deter crime. Republicans, they also urged a no vote on the bill, saying that it would give victim families not a chance to feel that the heinous crimes had been committed and they wouldn't have a chance for parole. Virginia, they've executed nearly 1,400 people over 4 centuries, more than any other state, according to the Death Penalty Information Center. In modern times, Virginia is only second to Texas in the number of executions since the Supreme Court reinstated the death penalty in 1976. The executions, they have slowed down in Virginia in recent years, but the last inmate to be put to death was William Morva in 2017. No death sentences have even been given out since 2011. Democrat Mike Mullen, who's also a prosecutor, he said he's carrying out the House version of legislation and advanced the end committee on a bipartisan vote of 15-6 with 1 abstention. If this bill is passed into law, Virginia becomes the 23rd state to abolish the death penalty. Big changes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that is big changes. And I feel like I don't want to make this into one of those English debates where the death penalty is always a topic like that. That's like when you're doing a research report.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, oh, what do you want to do your report on? Gun control, death penalty. But I do think that it's good to see these kind of changes happen because, like as stated in what Kenny read, not giving out a sentence since 2011, there's probably still so many people waiting on death row.
There's two, the article
For-
said. Didn't get into that, but there's two people who are currently on death
in
row
Virginia.
in the state who are currently
Yeah,
on
it
death row.
doesn't count for like every other state as well. You know, people waiting for
Oh, yeah.
30 years who might not even be guilty. And that's another thing. Some of these trials they've been waiting so long that the trial took place how many years ago, and new evidence might come out, or the jury didn't see things a certain way, or there wasn't the same amount of technology available to clear their name in the 70s as there might be now. Right. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of X factors around this sort of topic and around these trials as well. But I, for one, personally, am glad that it is getting that kind of attention and has been passed, and the abolition bill has been passed.
Yeah, that reminds me. They recently solved. It was I don't remember. Was it BTK? It was just a huge like serial killer case that's been cold for decades, and new technology. They got it, and that's a really interesting point you bring up. That the new technology could really revolutionize people who, like you said, have been down there for decades.
And also, I mean, there's a lot changes, and a lot has changed in like these past like couple of decades. When you think about how far technology has come, like phones, and even just practices, and the internet has changed things so much. Like I might be super Gen Zing it, but like, what did they do? Like when you think about sort of how things were done, you know, these lawyers were probably carrying around a bunch of papers. I mean, they still do, but just thinking how far it's come, right? You can just go with an iPad with all the things you need.
Give me a second to
And
flip through
just-
all my notes real quick. Oh no, I'll just control F this real quick. All right, we got it right here.
Exactly. There's
Now-
so much unspoken advancements culturally that I think can play into different factors of how cases are handled now. I
Right.
just think technology is amazing. That's all I wanted to say. That was the crux of it.
I'm just glad this kind of just all came to light because the past administration carried out the most executions over in a 17-year hiatus. So it's nice to see, in my opinion, that Virginia passed this bill, and hopefully we can get away from death penalty going forward. Well, I know, and we will in this administration, but there's 13 executions during the Trump administration. I just thought that was relevant.
I did not know
That's from
that.
the AP News. And that was
Yeah.
the most, that was the most ever for presidency.
Really? Huh. I didn't.
Yeah.
That doesn't make much sense because there have been a lot of people executed in Virginia, and I don't.
Eh,
That's all right. Numbers. I don't care about numbers. I don't like them. But this is
Me
this is
neither.
interesting because when I was younger, I used to be for it in a weird way where it would have to be set in stone and like a bad case. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's not really what I'm a fan of, because while it may seem set in stone 30 years ago, it could change. There's always that slight possibility.
I
And
didn't even have memes 30 years ago. Think about that.
the only time I've ever felt old in my life is when my 10-year-old cousin came up and said, "Kenny, do you know what a meme is?" I was like, we invented memes.
That's
Oh,
true. But
that hurt.
you know, there's a quote by, I want to say, Gandhi, that an eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind.
That's
I think that is a good justification of why murder might not beget murder in that sort of sense.
yeah, that's kind of the realization I had as I kind of grew older.
Yeah, and you know that quote was in Call of Duty. It's the only reason I know it.
That's ironic.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? when you die, it just tells you an eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. It's like, thanks. But
Thank you, COD.
thank you, Activision. Thank you, Treyarch. But let's move on to our next story. And I'll read the headline here. Seals might soon show up on the Jersey Shore. You know, when I first read that, I thought they meant the Navy SEALs. I'm like, what are they doing here? But then I was like, oh yeah, seals are an actual animal. And then I got really excited because I like seals. Tell me,
Seal.
what's up with these seals?
I had the same reaction as you did. I'll tell you. Okay, so there's this guy, Bob Shelkopf. I'll tell you more about him in a little bit. He has had his eyes trained on 24-hour nature camera on Seal Island in Maine for the last few months, and he's been spying a population boom of gray seal pups and watching their mothers leaving them behind as they descend back into the sea to feed. It's going to be the pups' chance next to waddle into the surf and set off for their first actual meal. And up to 500 of these seals may find food near 1,800 miles of coastline in New Jersey over the next few months, as they have for over a millennia or more. Ocean temperatures in the mid-30s this week actually create an ideal environment for them, and the seal is already spotted in Ventnor. Hey, my brother lives there. Oh, my brother sees a seal. Sorry, I got sidetracked. A seal was already spotted in Ventnor this last week, soaking up some sunlight before shelving back into the water. Shelkopf, 74 years old, has been watching this migration for the past 45 years. He started this watch with the founding of the Marine Mammal Stranding Center, a nonprofit dedicated to assisting marine mammals to survive. The challenge is especially acute for seals too, though, which beach themselves for the rest and rejuvenation, and that may be mistaken as an animal in distress. Shelkopf said for his team of 4 full-time workers and 300 volunteers, they respond around the clock to calls for seals and other marine mammals in distress. But he said an equally important part of their mission is to educate the public about what to do if they see a seal laying on a beach, just hanging out. It's easy, apparently. You just keep your distance. Experts, they advise, just stay at least 100 feet away and you will be okay, which disappointing, but makes sense. Shelkopf, he said that they have 500 calls a season, and they handle up to 70 seals a season, actually, for various issues in their facility in Brigantine, including injuries or as basic as giving them their first meal. Quote, some of the gray seals have never eaten before, end quote, Shelkopf said. And this first exposure to food is with them, and they're going to put that throat to connect the dots with them. Shelkopf, he said that the Stranding Center intervenes to help seals survive as part of their mission. He said before the Marine Mammal Protection Act in 1972, the carcasses of dead animals, they were on beaches, and particularly during migration seasons, they were far more frequent. He said that this organization, it helps keep public health danger down and helps the animals.
Oh, that's nice.
Seals!
I know, that'd be so amazing to see one.
Seals!
Oh, man, I'd love to see a seal. I just love animals, like the rehabilitation and that kind of thing. When you hear stories about people who have been working their whole life doing this kind of stuff, I always think, I'm like, man, how can I do that? Right? Like, I want to go help seals. I want to become an expert in animal rehabilitation.
Sealology.
Yeah, when I was younger, I wanted to be a zoologist.
Oh, really? That was cool.
Yeah, I just loved animals. I remember, I'm going to tell a little sidetrack story. When I was young and we went to Disney and Animal Kingdom, and which was my favorite, and they would have like the little safari tours and they do the little trivia, right? I would always get every question right. And the tour guide would always be like, oh, who's this little smarty pants? I'd be like, hee hee, it's me. Just because I loved animals. And I used to get that like magazine. Man, do you remember they used to have those commercials where it would be the bear in the waterfall and he'd eat the salmon, and it's like Wildlife Something magazine.
No.
Like, learn
Oh, that was a good commercial. That was a good commercial. I remember
Ryan,
that.
maybe it's because we grew up in the same area, Ryan. Our TV network is probably showing the same stuff.
On my Cartoon Network.
Yes. But 500 calls a season about seals. I mean, that is interesting. I've never seen one either, but I understand the importance of it because I feel like people are really dumb, right? And if they see a seal, they're going to go up and try to grab it and try to take pictures with it. And it's probably going to make the animal all stressed. And he's like, bro, I'm just hungry. I'm trying to bathe in the sun. Leave me alone. And they're just like, oh, a little seal. And they're like, throw a beach ball at him. He's gonna be like, or. He's like, leave me alone. That kind of stuff.
I think the easiest thing is going to be for people to stay away, as they say, keep your distance. It's not like we've heard that for the past almost a year now.
That's
So stay
Oh,
100 feet away this time, not 6 feet.
Seals.
Please.
Please don't give the seal coronavirus.
Oh, I wonder. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's
I
too
don't know
much
if I
pain for
can.
my
Oh,
head.
God.
You know,
That's too much pain for my
just
head.
be safe. Don't put any masks on the seal. I know you guys out there probably want to take a picture for social media, putting a
What-
mask on a seal.
What I'm
Don't do it.
Someone's gonna try that. What
Someone's
I'm
gonna try it.
confused about is they're gonna be showing up on beaches. Who is on a beach in January?
Or maybe some people just like walking down them because nobody's
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
a
there.
good point. I take
Polar
that
plunge,
back. Beach
too.
walkers.
A polar plunge. That's a good point.
Oh yeah, that's it. What if you just like collided with a seal?
What if
During
they're
that.
participating in the polar plunge? What if they get scared because it's polar and they're like, polar bears, what?
Seals. What would you do if you saw a seal?
And stay away.
Besides stay
Kenny.
away. Besides
That's
stay
the only
away.
thing you're supposed to do. Trick
Like,
question.
would you watch like, because you're an
I'd
animal
probably
lover, you
watch
said.
it. Yeah, I would definitely watch it. I'd be like, is that a seal? Because I have bad eyesight too. I'm taking this very literally. And I'd probably think if I can get a fish somewhere and maybe I just like, on the beach, throw a fish at it. Maybe it'll get it. Hopefully not hit it with the fish.
And you make the seal angry.
Just-
Nobody wants to make a seal angry.
Yeah, and then he's going to chase me down the beach. I'm like, oh man, can I outrun a seal? He's going to be doing his little floppy thing.
I feel like that would be one of the funniest visuals.
It would be a good TikTok, though. I mean, got to think about that. You trying to get famous, or do you want to get,
You
you know?
want to get arrested or you want to get famous, huh?
Instead,
You want to...
fame.
Nowadays, one's
$10,000
better
of
than
a
the other.
fine, 15 minutes
I mean,
of
what's the
fame.
difference between the two, for being honest? You know what they say, there's no such thing as bad exposure.
Exactly.
No, that is not true. There definitely is. You cannot convince me. There is such a thing as bad exposure.
You
Eh.
say that. But, you know, okay, you know, I could see where you're coming from, Kenny, but I think I'll take that risk. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And when we
Not
get
completing
back,
high school is more of
we'll
a
be talking
social
about
thing
going.
than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, where music stays cool. Cooler than a dog on a skateboard. Okay, I take that back, but we're still pretty cool.
Hi, this is Lisa Moore, Assistant Regional Census Manager for the New York region of the Census Bureau. We're here to talk about the census. The census, it's important for your community, it's safe to participate, and it's easy to complete the census. In March, we will all be charged with completing the 2020 census. More information can be found in your call to action at 2020census.gov.
Times are strange right now. That's why we're taking it back. With music, stories, and news, all from years of the past. Like Hotel California by Eagles. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper. And Lose Yourself by Eminem. Taking It Back with Lewis, Wednesday evenings 7 to 8 and Saturdays 4 to 5, exclusively on WMSC, where music stays cool.
Hello. We are
I'm
back.
muted. Welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Thursday morning buzz, this beautiful February 4th. I am Josh, also known as Josh, and I'm joined with Kenny and Ryan and Lewis, who is board hopping. You probably won't hear him, but he's sitting there listening to our rambles, our beautiful talks. But guys, it's award season. And yesterday, a bunch of Golden Globe nominees were just released. Have you guys seen these nominees?
I have not.
I've not
seen like one.
All right, so I'm going to be reading from Entertainment Weekly. Just going to go through some of the categories we have here. We have for Best Motion Picture Drama, The Trial of the Chicago 7, Nomadland, Mank, Promising Young Woman, and The Father. For Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, which when I read that, I was like, why do they have them in the same category? That seems weird.
Yeah.
Musical or comedy? Why?
I've always wondered.
You know, you have Borat's subsequent movie film, Hamilton, Palm Springs, or The Prom. I mean, there's one that stands out there, Borat. Like the other ones are all musicals.
They're nice.
But a comedy.
They're nice.
Very nice. Borat's subsequent movie film. And okay, next, Best Motion Picture Foreign Language, Another Round, Minari, Two of Us, The Life Ahead, or La Llorona. Ooh. And we have Best Director, Chloe Zhao, Nomadland, Aaron Sorkin, The Trial of the Chicago 7, Regina King, One Night in Miami, David Fincher, Mank, Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman. We have a lot more. Let's go to Best Performances by an actress in motion picture. We have Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Frances McDormand, Nomadland, Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman, Andra Day, United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman. And then we have Best Performance by an Actor in Motion Picture Drama. So, they got to separate them because of gender. Chadwick Boseman, a posthumous nomination for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Gary Oldman from Mank, Riz Ahmed for The Sound of Metal, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, and Tahar Rahim for the Mauritanian. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. The Mauritanian. I've never heard of that film. I'm sorry. But have you guys seen any of these films that I've mentioned so far?
Only one. I'm sure you could guess which one.
Was it The Sound of Metal?
No, it was Borat.
It was Borat?
It was Borat.
My gosh. So, what have you seen, Ryan?
I'm sorry. No, yeah, I saw Sound of Metal, which was really good.
I really want to. That's the one about the drummer who's losing his hearing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
really
saw
want
Sound
to
of
watch
Metal.
that.
So good.
Kenny's already forgetting.
I guess he didn't like it that much, but yeah. And I don't know if you mentioned for TV shows, Schitt's Creek too. I saw. Okay, yeah, I saw that, but yeah.
Right now, I've only mentioned the movies, but
Oops.
I do like already from what I'm seeing. I think there's a lot more diversity in this batch of nominations. Right, The Trial of Chicago 7, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I don't know if you guys saw that. It came out on Netflix. I think before Christmas, so like late last year, and I watched it and I was amazed, especially by Chadwick Boseman. He had recently passed away. His performance, I thought it was astounding. So I'm gonna give you guys some details about it because I definitely think it's a recommended movie to watch. So it's
Oh no!
Oh wow!
Are we losing him? I was excited.
I guess we're gonna have to wait
in one day.
Oh!
It is. Hello, I'm back. I'm
He's
back.
back.
All right, where did I leave off? Ma Rainey, she's a
secret
female
details.
Yeah, so it follows Ma Rainey. She was an artist in, I want to say, the 50s. It takes place one day. They're recording in a studio in Chicago, and the whole movie, it's based off of actually a theater performance, like a play. So it takes place in one location, and it's just a drama about a day in the life of recording in that era. right? And Chadwick Boseman, he plays a character that's a part of her band, which she calls the Black Bottoms. So he's like a trumpet player who has big ideas and wants to form his own band. He thinks his music is all amazing, and it was really good.
Was his name
And I
Louis
think
Armstrong?
no, I don't remember what his name was.
Oh,
It
I was
wasn't
kidding.
Louis
That was a
Armstrong.
joke.
Oh yeah, I mean Louis Armstrong was like 20 years prior, or
Yeah.
30 years from that age. But it was super tense, and I think what really enhanced it for me, and then I'm going to go into my personal review, was the fact that it was only in one location. The performances of everyone was very much emphasized, since there wasn't a lot of moving things a part of it. It was all content of the performance, and a lot of them were like one shots, one scenes that went on for so long. I'm like, wow,
Wow.
that would make me tired saying all that. But there's a super good twist at the end. I was very
I
I
like
didn't see
twists.
coming.
I've been meaning to watch that for so long, so I might have to put that on my list.
I had to watch it because my internship that I work at, the podcast, they were one of the people who works on it. He has also he works for like the Black Film Critics, and they made that movie of the year, and they were going to talk about it in the next episode. I'm like, I got to watch it first.
Did you see One Night in Miami too? That was pretty good too.
They talked about that one too. I need to watch that one. That one's on my list, but that's I think on like Amazon Prime Video, and like I don't have that at the moment, so I'm like, I got to find it. But
Right.
what was I going to mention? Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman both got nominated for Ma Rainey. Did you see that Viola Davis, she put on like 100 pounds or something for this role? And like she put on an
Wow.
obscene amount of weight to play this character, and also like worked it out as well. So I feel like that was an under talked about thing, the dedication to the role.
Yeah, it's crazy when actors do that. Absolutely crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Oof.
Wow.
But I want to see The Sound of Metal. That's on my list. It looked very interesting. I'm not a big metalhead. At first I was kind of like, but then I was like, wait a minute, I saw the ad for that, and I really wanted to see it.
It's definitely
Now
worth
we
it.
can Go into
Definitely worth your
some-
time.
Yeah,
Ooh.
definitely worth it. But when I was reading about this, the one thing I saw was that what's his name? Sacha Baron Cohen he tied the record for most nominations in a year.
in a single thing.
Yeah, single year.
Well, he also got one for the trial of the Chicago 7.
Exactly. He's got a tie at 3 for acting in Borat and Trial of Chicago 7 and then producing Borat.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, go Sacha Baron Cohen.
Go Borat.
Oh, very nice, my countrymen. But we let's read some other categories. Where did I stop? We could read some supporting roles. Best supporting role by an actress in a motion picture: Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy; Jodie Foster, The Mauritanian; Amanda Seyfried, Mank. Do you guys know about Mank? I feel like I'm seeing it, but I don't remember ever seeing like an ad for it or.
I looked it
anything
up last night because I was curious. It's about, Citizen Kane.
No, yeah, I know. Rosebud.
Yeah, that movie is supposed to be the greatest movie ever made. Yeah, that movie.
Yada yada.
Yeah, that
Some
one.
film nerds' favorite. You
Yeah,
know.
I like Citizen Kane. I'm sorry. It's about the guy. I think his name was Herman Mankiewicz, and it's about him trying to get the movie off the ground. I think, which doesn't make sense because I thought it was Orson Welles, but
Herman's trying to get Citizen Kane off the ground?
Or something like that. Do you want to keep? I
Very
will find
confusing.
it real quick.
All right, Kenny's gonna keep looking. I'll keep reading. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role: Jared Leto, The Little Things; Daniel Kaluuya in Judas and the Black Messiah; Bill Murray on The Rocks; Leslie Odom Jr. One Night in Miami; and Sacha Baron Cohen in The Trial of Chicago 7. So already a lot of diversity, and I like that. Shout out to Daniel Kaluuya too. I love him.
I never saw Get Out.
You never saw it? Wow.
No.
I feel like that's a must watch. You got to watch that, Kenny. Put that on your list. You're late.
Found the description for Mank. Okay.
All right, read the description for Mank before I get into
1930s Hollywood is reevaluated through the eyes of a scathing wit and alcoholic screenwriter Herman J.
Later.
Mankiewicz as he races to finish Citizen Kane.
Interesting.
One of the questions that comes up for Mank when you look it up, it says, "Is Mank boring?" That's literally one of the questions. and then the answer says the biggest problem with Mank is that it's so boring, and then it keeps going on and on. So
It's a movie about another movie.
it did get a great rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 83%, but I just thought that was too funny not to.
I'm
share.
sure it's fine.
It's a pretty good question. I wouldn't want to watch a movie
Very
if it was
interesting
boring.
point. Yeah, I'm sure it's not that boring, but it does bring up a great point about the dichotomy of how critics view things versus the general public. And I feel like as we go on each year, it kind of separates more to the point where I think more people or less people are listening to critics and more like, yeah, I just like this. And I think a good example of that is, Godzilla versus King Kong, because I'm excited to see that. I don't care about any story that's going to go on with Millie Bobby Brown or whatever's happening. I just want to see a monkey punch a lizard and a lizard.
My dad's big Godzilla fan. I'm sure he's going to say it. My dad, back when he was a little kid, there was a Godzilla versus King Kong. And
I'm ready.
King Kong,
I don't
spoiler.
have King Kong though.
King Kong, spoiler, beat Godzilla. And like the one when my dad was a little kid, my dad was furious.
I
So
would
he
be
com-
furious
He
too.
complained to his dad. He's like, Dad, King Kong beat Godzilla. And my grandfather goes, write him a letter. So my dad, at, I don't know, 8 years old, something like that, he wrote a letter to Hollywood addressing why Godzilla should have won. Never got a response.
Well, those wimps, those cowards.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. It's all imperialism and colonialism. Godzilla represents Japan or something, so they didn't want him to win over King Kong, which for some reason it represents America when he attacks New York. I don't know, but that's why they just don't want Godzilla to win. They're cowards. I'm gonna be mad if he doesn't win this time. I'm just gonna be honest. Just a tiny monkey. All right, but let me read the 4 nominations. Best Motion Picture Animated. Now this is my style. We have Soul, Onward, Wolfwalkers, Over the Moon, and The Croods: A New Age. I've only seen Soul and Onward. I don't know why they came out with a second Croods. That seems kind of rude, but was anyone really excited for the first one? But they got nominated, so mum's my word.
Yeah, I guess if they got nominated, it means it's good, right?
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, some movies might be boring. So, as we saw,
That's according to Manx.
I'm gonna quickly read some of these television ones. Musical or comedy: Emily in Paris, The Flight Attendant, The Great, Schitt's Creek, or Ted Lasso. We have television drama series: The Crown, Lovecraft Country. I always thought it was County. The Mandalorian, Ozark, and Ratched. For best performance by an actor in a television drama series, we have Jason Bateman, Ozark, Josh O'Connor, The Crown, Matthew Rhys, Perry Mason, Al Pacino, Hunters, and Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul. Ooh, there's one I've actually seen.
Mr. Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman. I love that. I think I still have a couple episodes left to finish for that. I don't know how I stopped watching with like 3 episodes left.
Oh,
So good.
That must be terrible. All right.
Oh, you would like Ozark then, but I digress.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to watch it.
All right. I'm excited for the Golden Globes. We've talked a lot about it, though. I found another story. That was my odd attempt at a segue. I found a weird story last night. Frozen? Like,
I know about it.
Let It Go, like that one, that Frozen.
Of course.
Yeah, that one. It solved, or at least helped solve, a 62-year-old cold case. Technology used in the Pixar film helped to piece together what likely happened on the night of the Dyatlov Pass incident. In January 1959, a group of students and their instructor went on an expedition to the Ural Mountains, otherwise known as Dead Mountain. The hikers pitched their tents for a night when a blizzard hit and temperatures dropped to minus 19 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold. Ow. Their tents were found ripped open the next day with all 9 of the hikers' bodies scattered throughout the campsite, and no one survived. For 62 years, the mystery of what happened to them went unsolved, as the small collapse was unlikely to cause such blunt force trauma. It became Russia's most famous cold case. And this all changed when Johann Guam of the Snow Avalanche Simulation Laboratory was impressed with having watched Frozen and seeing the film's realistic snow. So Guam, he decided to email the animators about what's going on with technology that they're using and how he could use it maybe for his work. And from there, he traveled to LA and met with the specialist responsible for the movement of the snow on screen. And he obtained a version of the snow animation code for his avalanche simulations. And now that he had it, he attempted to figure out how avalanche would affect the human body. His research allowed him to build a model that explained how the hikers sustained extreme injuries to their bodies. And these injuries, the reported note, would be normal for this type of rare avalanche. And Guam, he said that as much as it's too normal, people, they don't want to believe in avalanche. It's not as fun. It's not as creative. And I kind of get that. But it's a good thing to bring up because while the case isn't closed and there's still a lot of questions to it, at least now it's sure exactly what happened. And now we don't have to worry about like aliens or something. Conspiracy.
Or a Yeti. That's interesting. Wow. That frozen snow was so realistic. I think that, like, what a shout out to how far animation has come.
Yeah.
Animation, even CGI, people don't give it enough credit. Like, that's art and that's science. And it's so interesting. I wish I was good at it, man. I wish I could do something like that. I feel like it might be tedious though, and I might get annoyed.
Yeah. That's something funny though, because like we never think about that. Like as like, you know, the casual viewer. Just, oh wow, look at that snow. I wonder what the code is. Like that's really cool though.
Yeah, I mean, I
Literally
guess
snow.
if you're like Johann Guam, what a name, by the way. I was very amazed by the name. I think it's a top tier one. Work with snow, or you work in a mountain and sort of you're a climatologist and you're used to seeing this in real life and you see it visually represented on screen to a certain extent that you haven't seen before. Because let's be honest, when it comes to a lot of sciences and a lot of even our radio, right, the program we use looks like it's still in the 90s or the however long ago it was. It doesn't look that new. So a lot of scientists are probably still using those kind of old things because, you know, it could cost a lot to upgrade, or it takes a lot of effort to actually code that kind of thing. But, you know, Disney, they have the resources. So they're like, yeah, this kids movie, let's make it have the most realistic snow we've ever seen. Like, sure, why not?
Some kids never get to see snow. What if it's a kid like in like Texas? Like that kid doesn't know what snow looks like. They
What
have to
snow
get it
looks like.
realistic for the kid.
For all,
For the kid.
Yeah, down here I ain't never seen no snow like that.
they're like Olaf, but like a winter version, you know? Like they've never seen winter, like he's never been seen summer.
That's true. In winter.
In winter. It's not nice.
Start doing the accent, but wow, that's kind of amazing. I think what's interesting what I always think when I hear about these cold cases that are gaining heat, as a so to speak, you know, that come back up, it's like, how do you remember that? Right, 62 years. That's almost a whole generation of people probably working at wherever Johann is. And it's kind of, unless it's like a small town, it's like the legend of the Diebold's Pass, of what happened. They got abducted by Yetis. It was probably talked about quite a lot, being such a mystery. But
Yeah.
how do people remember these cases, you know, other than
Because-
maybe one night just scrolling through the file cabinet? I'm like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, I see it. There's like that really like tight knit like group who focused on this like hard. Like just but very few people is how I see it. Like all right, what's a good way to describe this? Kind of like okay. It's kind of like the Area 51
Mhm.
raid is how I see it. Very, very few people in comparison to the larger populace, but they believe in it hard. And they're gonna live it. It's kind of how I'm thinking this happened. Just a guess, obviously. But
That's interesting. Well, I know now we can rest easy knowing that there's no Yetis up in Russia, or I'm pretty sure this was in Russia, right?
yeah, it was Russia. If there was anywhere that had Yetis, it would be Russia.
I mean,
so
hey, according to the Mummy, the third movie, they live in what's it called? Mount Everest. So that's Nepal and Tibet.
not close to Russia.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I think that was an underrated movie. Mummy 3. You know, they brought the Terracotta Army to life. They fought some Yetis. It was one of Brandon Fraser's like last movies. When was he? When has he done something? You know, he's in Doom Patrol, which I started watching on HBO Max, and I was like, Brendan Fraser. I was happy about that, but there's no Yetis in Russia. Rest easy.
No Yetis in Russia. I can go to sleep now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah, they're keeping me up at night. I was like, what if all the snow? They might think it's Russia here. But let's move on to our next story. This one is kind of a doozy, I want to say. If you're on Twitter, you might have seen some memes. You might have seen some talk about it. The rapper Lil Uzi Vert has a new piece of jewelry, only it is in the middle of his forehead. Right, the rapper recently posted some pictures of him with a pink diamond that he was going to get placed in the middle of his forehead. I think the number that the cost of it was nearly $24 million, right, which is obscene. Now I'm gonna talk about a couple things here, but that have to do with like disconnecting from reality and whatnot. But when somebody says they're gonna put a diamond in the middle of their forehead, right? My first instinct, I don't know if this is me being disconnected from seeing movies or TVs, but like that doesn't really shock me. But I was really shocked at the price of $24 million. That's like the Pink Panther, you know. He's putting the Pink Panther in his forehead.
Well, did you see the cost of that it might take on his life too? Did you see that? What he said?
His whole life.
He said on Twitter, if I don't get, this is a quote, if I don't get it took out the right way, I could die. He captioned that in a selfie and he was being serious. So that's $24 million. It's a big steep.
That's steep for a statement, but I think what a statement too. He just has a diamond in his forehead. I mean, when he says that, it makes a lot of sense. If you've seen Infinity War, you know, when Vision got the stone taken out, he died.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this at all. And when you put it in our script, Lil Uzi Vert looking like Vision, I was like, what is that? I looked it up. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And I think it really is a disconnect from reality, that it's not that weird, right? If you were to show somebody a picture of him like 40 years ago, they'd just be dumbfounded and shocked. I mean, honestly, even 10 years ago, they'd be like, what? He has a diamond in his forehead?
You know,
but what do they do, Kenny?
You know, they do like articles of like evolution of music and evolution of a lot of different things. I feel like one day we're going to see like, I'm going to call back to before, Louis Armstrong blowing on a trumpet, and then like a black and white photo, and then 100 years later, it's Lil Uzi Vert with a diamond in his head.
Yeah. We're witnessing exponential cultural growth. We're living through it.
Do you remember the Himalaya ride back in like where is that at? In like Seaside, right?
Yeah.
And you know how they have like the pictures all over the wall? That they're gonna put Uzi's picture there instead of they're gonna get rid of that. In the next 30 years, they're just gonna put Uzi's picture up there.
That's amazing.
Oh man.
I'm just thinking like how far embedded is it into his forehead?
So like
does it hurt? How does he clean it? Is he getting thoughts like that are not his? Like, does the soul have a mind of its own? Is he actually Vision? I guess that's where I'm going. But like,
watch out for Thanos, Susie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You think he has like a gem buffer, like one of those big ones, and somebody just comes like, all right, it's time for your 5 o'clock polishing, and just like right on his forehead, just start polishing it. You imagine that.
Jesus,
the upkeep on that has to be immense.
If he like hit his head, that would hurt. Like, I mean, it hurts if you hit your head regardless, but like if it like what's it like it's like Avatar. Sparky boom, man.
Oh my god, he is.
It's the third eye.
Combustion,
like imagine if he gets hit there, that's like his kryptonite. He's done.
Yeah. Just one little face palm. He can't even face palm anymore. Think about that. Somebody does something stupid around him, it's a liability.
Oh,
in his contract, I would say do not expose to stupid people.
He might have to wear a face shield now. I mean, think about that.
He could start wearing a headband. It'll be very dramatic. The reveal. He just always wearing a headband, and he takes it off. It's like no, it starts shining. Very dramatic. But this is where the world is going to. In a couple years, hopefully, I don't know if this will be accessible to everyone, but the hive mind of people, I think we will start seeing more people try this some point in the future, which kind of scares me because I don't want any gems in my forehead.
I was just gonna ask, would you try it?
I would not know.
Me neither.
Never.
Nope, not a chance. Not a chance.
Never.
There's no way I would ever do that.
If you did, what gem would you want?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I'm thinking my birthstone. I might go with amethyst.
I don't know what my birthstone is.
Aren't you January? Isn't that garnet?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yours is like a topaz. No, is garnet's like topaz. It's like reddish, but it's like
I know what a garnet is. Yeah, I just didn't know the thing.
A deep red.
I've played
red
Skyrim.
orange.
I know.
Oh yeah, you do play Skyrim.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's. I don't know. I'd probably go sapphire.
Going nice and blue.
Yeah,
about
I
you,
like
Ryan?
blue. Match my eyes.
Honestly, that's kind of a difficult thing. I have to do a lot of decisions on this, especially if it's in the middle of my forehead.
I know. And it really will change your wardrobe for the rest of your life. You're basically saying, what color am I gonna want on me forever?
Oh man, maybe like something silver or something, But I digress. I digress.
Silver, not diamond, opal,
Silver,
emerald, ruby.
It matches with anything, because I wear a lot
That's
of like
true, that's
neutral
fair.
colors. So
I don't think silver. I don't think silver is a gem, Ryan. I have to call you out on that.
That's true. I think it's an
plead the
element.
fifth.
All right, we'll get back to you. I expect an answer sometime soon, 3 to 5 business days.
We should make that like the tweet of the day on WMSC. That's just this
Oh, that'd be
idea.
interesting. What stone do you want on your forehead? Topaz, or maybe like a crystal.
Now we're going to move over to a new segment that we are doing. If you've been tuning in to earlier days of the Buzz, you will know that we are doing segments, a different segment for every single day of the week. And for Thursdays, we got events that are happening. So in the Montclair area, particularly on Montclair State, we'll be telling you what's going on. And I found out this is the one I'm most excited for. February 8th, Monday, actually happening every single day of the week. It's virtual. They're doing a Floors Lava Challenge. A Floors Lava Challenge. You have to, if you want to join the fun, all you have to do is make your own course and submit your own video submission of you going through the course throughout Google Forms. You can submit starting on Monday. You have until February 19th to do this. And once all your submissions are in, people start voting on which one is their favorites. It's free to do and no registration required or anything like that. Also, doing DIY hand sanitizer from February 9th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So the whole point behind that one is, you smell the hand sanitizer. It doesn't smell too good. Well, they're doing this so you can make your own and put your own favorite essential oils and other kinds of smells in there. Okay. And this one, open volleyball, February 10th, 2021, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Open volleyball. So if you always want to play volleyball but never really had the chance to, well, this is your time to have some fun playing volleyball. You can register through the IM League's website if you are interested. There's a lot going on.
You know what I hear when you say that, Kenny? You want to play volleyball but never got the chance. I hear if you want to spike on some amateurs, come down.
I played volleyball in high school.
I didn't do anything in high school. I did musicals, but yeah, if you want to spike on some amateurs. Oh wait, I'm frozen. Hello, let it go. I'm back.
You're
If
good.
you want to spike on some amateurs, make sure you sign up. But we have 5 minutes left in the show, guys.
That Floors Lava, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
It's
creative.
intense. Didn't they make a TV show out of that?
Floors Lava TV show?
Yeah, I think they made a game show of some sorts, or maybe it was only an online thing. But I'm 90% sure they made it like one of those. They capitalized on the popularity of it and made it like a limited type series.
That's
right?
cool.
Kind of like Professional Tag. Have you guys seen Professional Tag?
Professional Tag. Never even heard of that.
I want to do it.
gets-
I want to be a part of it.
intense. I
Professional tag.
recommend looking up some videos. It gets real intense. Like they have a whole assortment set up of different pipes and obstacles that you can run over, run through, or run around, and it's like a stalemate the whole game. They're chasing each other.
That's
It's
awesome.
real intense.
I would do that. That's awesome.
No, I would get stuck. I'd get tagged instantly.
Forza.
Same. Me too.
Reminds like games I played like when I was a little kid, and because
I still play that now. I'm like, can I not touch the floor when I walk here?
but
I'm not hopping on the couch anymore, but I'm still like sliding on a piece of paper that's on the floor. I'm just like, can I stay on this 1 foot row? I'm rowing my imaginary rowboat.
Doing splits from the kitchen and the living room, like you're.
Oh, yep. I still do the thing where my refrigerator kind of like auto closes. So I open it. I'm like, gotta run out of the kitchen before it closes.
It's good
What do you-
exercise.
Josh, what are you doing? Mom, I can't touch the floor. Okay, it's not a phase.
I gotta make one step. I can only take one step in the kitchen.
Only right here. If I do anywhere else, I will melt and I will die.
So if somebody taking a game too seriously, you just push your mother like out of the way. You're like, get off the floor, Mom. It's lava. Boof.
You guys ever seen
your poor
Community?
50-year-old mother?
You ever seen Community?
No, I
the show?
haven't.
You haven't? I watched it before. It was cool. When I watched it, one of the big things they do like these episodes where they just take like some game and make it go all out. So one of my favorite episodes, probably my favorite, is when they do like, was it paintball? And they make it in the first season, the entire school is like a war. And it's crazy. But they have one for the floor is lava. I think they actually have two. But
It's a good game.
they like those people, they take it seriously. They offer some ridiculous prize, like, free semester tuition or something like that, obviously.
No, that is serious.
Yeah, that's in the TV show though.
I mean, if that were to real happen, that's when you put all your friendships aside and it's every
Oh,
man
yeah.
for himself.
They
For
are
sure.
crazy.
Long live the king style stuff, Your friend is sitting next to you like, we're gonna do this together. And like, I'm out of ammo, my gun is jammed. And you just have to slowly look at them and say, long live the king. And just right there, paintball them out. But before I go into another dramatic scenario in my head, you have been listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This has been the Thursday Morning Buzz. Tune in tomorrow for the Friday Morning Buzz. I might be there again. I might not. It's my birthday. I don't really want to go, but I might do it anyway because I have nothing better to do. I have been Josh, aka Josh.
Okay. You surprised me there. I did not think you were gonna say Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me neither.
I like to keep you guys on your toes.
I am Kenny Horn. I don't have a nickname yet. We're working on it.
The war horn.
I'll be back with one. It'll be
And I'm Ryan Breda.
Thank you all for listening. That was a weird transition, but thank you. 90.3 WMC Upper Montclair once again. Weekdays 8 to 9, Morning Buzz. We are the champions, my friends, and
And
we'll
we'll
keep on fighting until the end. Lewis, play that. See if we have that there.
thank you.
I don't know if we do. Thank you for being a friend. Traveled all the way back again.
My sentence.